If any other club in the whole of Europe has such a situation, says Daniel Farke. Welcome back. It's the Roaring Peacock podcast. We talk about Leeds United Football Club. And my name's Adonis. And you know me as the nerdy one. And Fat Lad from X is Barney.
Oi, you all right?
And in his element, Machiavelli. Big Mac.
Boys, how are you doing? All right? Feels like a lifetime.
Yeah, it always is. It always is these days. Difficult to motivate, but we've negotiated our release clauses and we're back. So should we start off with the...
I'm going out on loan to the Square Ball.
Yeah.
No fee.
What should we talk about? Should we talk about the loans, first of all? Should we just get all that shit out of the way? You got something to get off your chest? What do you think about everybody going out on loan, Barnes?
Well, obviously I'm not allowed to change my opinion in football, but at first when you saw a couple of players going out on loan, fair enough, yeah. Then there was a more going out on loan. You think, hang on a minute, what's happening here? Right. I was expecting players to go out, but I was expecting some sort of revenue from these players leaving the club. But
did you start shopping around yourself, looking at other football clubs? Think, God, maybe I could support them for a year. That looks pretty good. What are Man City doing? Oh, they've already won.
Well,
be like Phillips. You'd be there picking up your medals.
I was looking at FFP, and I thought I couldn't afford to stretch that far to Man City.
Right.
I just think after everything's come out the last couple of days as well, with how the contracts have been done and signed off, it's just an absolute car crash. And I'm expecting there's going to be a hell of a lot more coming out as well.
Yeah, it's one of those car crashes that you need to take a day off every now and then. Normally you look at a car crash, don't you, like a moth to a flame? It's fascinating, isn't it? Seeing the mangled wreckage. Big Mac.
But listen, you look at that mangled wreckage when it's somebody else's car, when it's your car. It's fucking absolutely tragic. You can't look at it because you're in it, and that's the way how you feel, isn't it? At the moment, it's hard to see any positives because I think whatever happened last year, and it was abysmal couple of years watching football and watching Leeds, but you go into a new season relatively positive, don't you? Whatever division you're in, I think back to the -15 League One. And everybody came back buzzing like, "Oh, we're all in this together." We've got a team that'll, in sort of Wise and Poyet that will probably play up to that and be able to motivate the players based on the fact that it's us against the world, and Leeds are good at that. And you kind of came back this season thinking, well, fair enough. The Premier League hasn't been all that, and VAR and the way getting rid of Bielsa and the kind of downturn in form, and it's not been pretty to watch. Thinking, well, you know what? If we do well and we're top 3 or 4 and we do the right things in the close season, it'll be exciting. And the Championship's are good, and it's a strong division, whatever anybody tells you. But God Almighty, it's like 2 games in, a game and a half, 90 minutes, 3 hours, whatever, and you suddenly that's all gone. All that optimism and hope's gone, and it's predominantly being caused by the contract situation and the fact that fucking hell, Middlesbrough fans did warn us and we wouldn't listen. How he keeps falling upwards, Sevilla, who are obviously a good competitive Spanish team, is beyond me. Because listen, if you write a clause in that you're going to reduce people's salaries, fine. If you're going to write a clause in that people can leave, a relegation clause, you can't do both in the same contract. It's fucking bizarre. Because what are they going to do? I'll tell you what, I'll take a 50% wage cut at Leeds and stay there, or I'll move and get more money and be playing at a higher level. It beggars belief, and it just goes to show that behind the scenes, Orta had too much power and nobody seemed to keep the reins on it. And how Kinnear's still in a job, or anybody that's been complicit or being a custodian of the club during that period of time is. We used to say it about Ridsdale or about Bates. In any other business, you wouldn't ever work again in that industry. You'd be written off. But
the job of the CEO is to sign off on everything, right? To oversee everything, to sign off on everything. His signature must be on all those contracts.
Well, it's just basic principles of business or anything that you do is that you get somebody who's an expert to read over those contracts and advise you. And it just looks like they've been, like the kits, Radrazan and his son with a box of crayons. It's all fucking very amateur. And you're a Premier League club. You wouldn't expect, Wrexham, where you've got these two Americans that have gone in or operating at a different level. I know there's a bit of like impetus behind them because of the kind of money but it just seems like people who aren't football people can operate at a much better level than we've been able to. And it's really sad, I feel sorry for the fans. I've been to both games, I've been to I went to the Cardiff game, went to the cup game against Shrewsbury, and I've got to be honest, I felt the atmosphere was really flat.
It was against Cardiff, yeah.
And it was in the cup, Yeah, just really sad that you can't go into a season optimistic and thinking, well, whatever division you're in, let's have a go and be competitive. And Leicester and Southampton seem to have done it. We're the only club in the history of parachute payments who've managed to use that. Not going to benefit from it because of the fucking shit show we've created behind the scenes.
Just on that, the Middlesbrough fans on Orta. In Orta's first season, he was almost fired. And 23rd of April 2018, he sort of gave this message to the board saying, "No, I'm going to stay. If you still want me, I'm going to stay." And this got out, and I looked it up because I was thinking about writing about Orta, but this week, but I ended up just getting too depressed. I really couldn't think about what I could write about. So I just ended up writing about Daniel Farke and how we just have to back him for the last 2 weeks and just tried to write something positive. But anyway, yeah, I just found this one tweet. Our transfer dealings under Orta were the worst in our history. And that was from a Middlesbrough fan in April 2018. It feels like there was no due diligence done in appointing him in the first place. But anyway, we are going to try and be positive at some point. Just want to say hello to everybody. Dylan says hi. Nora says the boys are back. Liam B, nice to see you back. No clauses for you, Leeds.
Yeah, we're stuck here.
Yeah. Don't forget.
Like the rest of you poor bastards. Yeah, we're here forever.
We don't need any players to win the league. Surely, says Nora. That's a controversy. Well, we got a 14-year-old in the under-21s scoring 2 goals the other day. So there's plenty in the academy. And Archie Gray has a brother in there as well. Evening, lads. Loans really show what poor contracts we sign players on. Absolute disgrace. Liam B says, Farke said he had never seen so many clauses for players to go out on loan. He said, while he's here, this won't happen on his watch.
I think that's the positive in it, is that he's come in and obviously thought, and it does make you question in a way. I mean, I think with Bielsa, he would have been, artistically focused on the football alone, and he probably wasn't that interested.
Autistically,
yeah. See what I did there? But, and others would have come in, but it just makes you wonder. Jesse Marsh, what was he doing? He's ripped out and undone a lot of the great things Bielsa did, and he's obviously not shown any interest, whereas Farke seems to be so horrified by what he's having to cope with as a playing staff and the disgruntled players that can afford to just say, oh, well, I want my contract looking into because it's that complex and I don't want to play for you. That he's obviously that pissed off, he's going to start taking an interest in, and this kind of, people have talked about this, selling the club as a stepping stone. When you're in the Premier League, you don't sell no club is a stepping stone when you're in the Premier League. You want to stay with that club and make it the best it can be, and obviously there'll be stars in there that'll get picked off, but it just seems like we're reaping what we sow now, because people say, well, I was only here, I was sold this dream that I'd play well here for a season and I'd be off like Rafinha or
Phillips.
It just don't work like Phillips. Yeah, I mean,
sold our 2 best players and brought in all that shit that's gone out on loan for Jesse Marsh.
All the shit that apparently Bielsa didn't want, that now he's gone, they seem to have had an obsession with bringing in those players. The only player that breaks that rule is Aronson, who Bielsa was seemingly obsessed about, like he was Dan James, and they're both shit.
I think what's been highlighted as well is the fact that Parag even said in his interview that was the head groundsman or something was also looking after the IT. It all seems
Wow.
very amateurish, doesn't it? And it's shown with, like, the way the club community has communicated 2 seasons as well. It's been very beige and basic, and even now the communication is very much the same. And I know I'm not. The fans are wanting some. I've said want some sort of communication with all what's happening with these contracts. I'm not expecting the club to say we're fucked up, but this is one of the reasons why this is happening. But I don't think it. I mean, some people said it might be toxic tomorrow. I don't think it'll be toxic tomorrow. I think a lot of people have got a hell of a lot of patience for the team and also for Farke, because the way Farke has handled himself in his press conference has been absolutely fantastic. You can't judge what his football is going to be over by the end of this month because we still haven't got the players in.
I
But
think
it's just a real mess, everything.
Do you not think, Barnes, if we concede from our first shot on target, conceded again, or like first 2 or 3, let's say 2 or 3-0 down from 2 or 3 shots faced?
Oh yeah, he'll definitely turn.
Well, against Cardiff when we were 2-0 down, the first goal went in, I was like, here we go. It didn't even affect me because I'm that immune to it now. Just like, here we go again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the sad point of it, is like the atmosphere is so flat because we're just used to the same things again, conceding first. And I'm absolutely sick of conceding first all the time. I mean, we even did it against Shrewsbury, didn't we? We conceded first. It's absolutely, it's shocking. But I don't know if
four shots on goal. The two games, Shrewsbury and Cardiff. Out of the first 4 shots on goal, we conceded 3 goals.
It was 3.
It's like,
it was 3 from
was
the
it
first
3 shots?
3.
Right.
Yeah.
It's even worse. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
I was trying to dress it up a bit.
Darlow made a couple of saves after that, though. But
yeah, they were poor against Shrewsbury. I think the thing is, if you rekindle that atmosphere and that mentality from that minus 15 season, that's what we have to do. When you're in that stadium, but I just start feeling it. Like I said, the games I've been to thus far, it's been really flat. There isn't that kind of us against them mentality. And at some point, somebody's got to, whether it be captain, Cooper, or one of the players, or Farke. I think he's probably too dignified to do it. You need to turn that on, because ultimately it goes either that way of like it's us against the world and let's stick together and get behind. For all the, I don't rate Dan James as a footballer, but you can't slag his attitude and at least he's come back and wanting to play and he's putting in a lot of effort. So it's really difficult, but you can't be negative about that. You've got to get behind the lad and get, Joffe hasn't had the best start. Helder hasn't had the best start. Yaby at the cup game, he was awful. But you've got to get behind these young lads and try and help them through it and get that kind of us against the world mentality behind us. But
when you look at Lavia, you really think we got the wrong Man City youth midfielder, didn't we?
Well,
bloody hell.
We'd have got Lavia, we'd have done the same. He'd have been leaving on a free or a loan clause. That's the point. It wouldn't matter who we got. We've fucked up, haven't we? And that's because of Orton and the people that are running the club, and that's not the players' fault or Farke's fault, or even I do have some issues around the 49ers because, again, I've said it before, they've been knee deep in Leeds for quite a long time. People are sort of talking like, oh, it's not the 49ers' fault. Well, they've had a 47% share for nearly how long? 2 or 3 years.
Leeds have been ball deep in Leeds for the last 2 years. Let's face it.
I think for me, for the 49ers, they have been here. Was it since 2017? And the way Parag was in his interview was like, "Yeah, I know about contracts and blah blah."
Do him in my sleep.
Yeah, and there's a lot of in the know accounts out there saying, "Oh, he was part of all that." But it's a brand new ownership, and I'm still being quite open-minded about it. But they knew where the fan base was after relegation. There could have been some really quick wins from what they could have done with the engagement with the fans, with what we're going to do. This is our plan, and the way they want to do it is be quite quiet about it. Fair enough, but at least try getting some engagement with the fan base. Do something do something different in match days or something. But walked in on
cheerleaders,
yes, cheerleaders or something like that.
Fireworks,
walked in
peanut
on
sellers.
First game, and it was exactly the same. Shit food, shit beer, shit football. It's just shit.
Is the pie still stuck on the wall, or did they clean that off?
I didn't
Frozen
see
piss
that
on the seat.
But I mean, I mean,
They fixed the
people
Wi-Fi,
say,
did they?
no Wi-Fi.
No, no.
Just
I think the purchase of the tickets, the IT, because they've got rid of the groundsman doing it, does seem a lot better. I've got to be honest, and I actually thought the pint of Amstel I had on Sunday was quite good. So I'm going to be trying to be positive, for once.
Yeah.
They're the upsides. But did you see my lad's hot dog that nearly broke the internet? Somebody commented on.
Yeah.
I've always thought your footlong is going to break the internet one day, but I wasn't. Yeah, that was fucking grim, man.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is,
ET's third leg.
yeah, fucking hell, I'd rather eat ET's third leg than that thing that was served up. I mean, it was grim. But the worst thing about it was he gets this horrible hot dog. It looks shit. It's about 18 foot long in a fucking cardboard baguette that's half the length of the sausage, right? Badly planned, right? If you can't do that, you're not going to be able to
costs 5 pence.
Yeah,
But it costs the club 5 pence to buy.
£4.50 to buy.
But don't ask what's in it, if you know what I mean.
Oh mate, well Luca turned his nose up at it, sat in the stand. He went, Dad, there's like little balls of like fat. I said, oh, it'd just be gristle, but literally it was like balls.
It's
like
literally balls.
Like it will be balls. I said it'll be lips and arse. That's why. But you get blind bake. You'll know about it. You're a cook. You blind bake stuff.
yeah.
And
Oh
you put
yeah.
those little those bead things, the balls in.
Yeah.
They were like miniature versions of them, and I'm like, that's like nothing I've ever seen in any food
Oh,
item or
God.
anywhere in my life. But then I said to the lady, "Where's the sauce?" And she went, "Oh, it's round the corner. You have to go get it yourself." I'm not kidding. This shelf couldn't be any closer to the entrance to the bloke's shitter if you tried. So you've literally got blokes coming out doing the flies up, and my children applying fucking what I can only describe as nuclear mustard and the fucking worst tomato sauce I've ever seen. Literally within a meter of people having a piss and spitting and having a shit. It's fucking disgusting. The whole thing's just yeah, it made me laugh. And at some point, boys, this is the thing. When I remember going years ago, and it was grim, and there was nothing nice about going to football. That would have been a treat, but you've got to get that gallows humour back, and it just seems like the fan base of today doesn't have that same resilience, I guess, determination, and that gallows humour where you just we laugh at ourselves, and it's like we celebrate our shitness, and it's all got very serious, hasn't it?
Right, we've got 25 people watching, so thank you very much, because
You'll never sing that.
Yeah. It's been a long time. Been a long time between meals. Orta should have been fired after losing 40 million on the JKA deal, says Ben Tillotson. Well, I don't think you'll find anybody disagreeing with that. Skip's back. Skip says,
What's that?
What, he's stuck down the well, Skip?
Bloody hell. Realistically, can you see us getting in 4 or 5 first team signings before the window closes? Hope so. Otherwise,
I think we'll get 3 in, and that's it.
We're heading for 15th again, aren't we? If we don't, I think. Right, Badger. Lads. It's reminded me of
Alex,
certain person in the WhatsApp group. Lads. We are one missed pass from anarchy on Friday. If Nonto or Sinister are involved, it'll be like a war zone. So Alex believes that there's quite some toxicity on Friday.
Are we touching on Nonto and Sinister, by the way?
Yeah. Let's talk about
that. We've talked about the 14 players out and the 7 or 8 fucking loans that haven't brought any revenue, but that's bad
Let's
enough,
talk about the ones who are refusing to play.
Let's talk about the ones who are still here and then say, I don't fancy it. Well, fuck yeah, fuck me.
Judging by the number of available tickets, they're not alone in not fancying it, are they? Fucking hell.
Yeah, it's fucking grim, that, man. I mean, how can you do that? That's embarrassing. Whatever the circumstances are, you turn up for your team, you're getting paid, you've got a contract. I mean, what I despise is the fact that Nonto got a song after about 2 games. And I'll be honest with you, people go on about, he's going to be this, he's going to be that. He was playing in Switzerland before. I think he's had probably 5 or 6 tops good games. And I wouldn't even say he plays a full game well. He plays 25 minutes well. I mean, he's got a song, and it's a very controversial song all the same. But fucking Weston McKennie had a song. Brendan Aronson had a song. They're here 5 minutes, and they're absolute fucking lunatic. They're no good, and they've got a song. And then you've got people who've been here fucking ages who are good servants who, probably thinking, "Whoa, why haven't I got a song?" You're singing that this kid who's just turned up 5 minutes ago, and they've shown the true colours, haven't they? I mean, to refuse to play and to let down a depleted squad is unforgivable. I can't. I know you talked about it, Donny, about Campbell and Buendia saying that they did similar things at Norwich and he managed to get them back on side. And if it helps the team, fine. But I can't. For me personally, there's no way back from that.
Especially with Leeds fans, once you say you're not going to play, they're not. They're totally going against you. And I mean, Nonso last season was probably one of the shining lights out of a shit season. He was probably one of the players he thought he's quite a good player. But in the grand scheme of things, he's come into the Premier League, and it feels like once you've come to the Premier League, you've made it as a player. Well, you haven't. You need to be consistent week in, week out, and he wasn't. And that's why sometimes he didn't play, and sometimes it was quite easy when he wasn't on it. You forgot he was actually playing in the game because he was non-existent in some games. And it's a side of modern football that I absolutely hate, where agents have so much control over the players that they can turn around and say, I don't want to play. If I did that at work, you'd be like, well, all right then, disciplinary for you. Next thing
Mancini will definitely, because he got kicked around Ellen Road by David Batty. Mancini, who was until very recently the Italian coach, will definitely have been pecking him about it as well, I reckon. Without a doubt.
Yeah, I think it's when somebody refuses to play for your club, I think it's easy to demonize them, and they should be heavily criticized. But I have to play devil's advocate because it's too easy to just criticize them, and I have to just say that he is being badly advised. I do think agents have too much power. He is 19. I think you've got to take that into account because we all made a lot of mistakes when we were 19. Yeah, apart from Jesus or whatever. And the other thing is that fuck, what was the other thing?
To be fair, Jesus had shit dress sense, and he was a really bad judge of character as well. He just trusted everybody, Jesus, didn't he? So everybody has their faults,
And the other thing is you've got a crowd chanting, who were meant to be on your side, chanting sort of something that's incredibly racist and stereotyping perpetuating racial stereotypes. I know it's meant to be all a bit of fun, but they spoke out about it. The club spoke out about it. Kick it out of raise the red card to racism, and all of those groups spoke out about it. The club made a statement. I wrote about it on BBC. I went on to BBC Radio Leeds and talked about it. There was enough messaging out there to say this is the history of why that stereotype is racist. And if not for anything else, maybe don't speak about a 19-year-old's dick in public. And yet they still did it every single game. So I think that there has to be give and take, right? There has to be a little bit of give and take. But I do think if you're a player and you refuse to play, you should at least be fined 100% of your wages. You shouldn't be paid by the club if you're refusing to do your job, because everybody in that stadium has a job. And if anybody in that stadium who had a job refused to go to work, you know what would happen, don't you?
Yeah, and I just think this kind of attitude of I'm better than Leeds in the Championship. He missed 2 sitters against Cardiff. He's not that fucking good. You know what I mean? He should have scored the one he got put through early on when he looped it over and went wide, and the one where he did really well to go around a few players. He should have finished it. And it's like, so fucking same with Sinisterra. He should be tearing this division apart. He didn't do anything against Cardiff apart from the shot that got blocked that went to Sinisterra. He had a few flashes of this, that, and the other, but he weren't tearing it up. He weren't dominating. It's just fucking. It's this
right?
attitude
Yeah, because
of,
if it was Rafinha, you'd be like, well, he's never really felt like ours anyway. He's always felt too good.
And the
Yeah,
thing with
but
Sinistero
yeah.
is that the fact that how many games did he play last season? He was out injured a lot
Oh,
of the time as well. And then all of a sudden he's turning around saying, I'm too good for you. But hang on a minute.
somebody said who's in for fucking Sinistera Booper. He's made of biscuits. I mean, listen, in boxing, in football, most South Americans are nails, aren't they? They're like tough, even if they're flashy, they're quite tough, or they've got an edge to them. We bought the only Colombian who's fucking made of digestives, and he's, any excuse to, oh, I don't fancy it today. I'm going to go off. I'm going to go down in 30th minute. He looks a bit like he's got a poor attitude to me, and again, when I've watched him at Cat, I thought, I was really looking forward to my kids. We've been with my kids to both games, and they have their favourites, which Nonto and Sinistera would be up there. And my lad was, Sinistera's going to rip these. He's going to tear these apart. He's going to look so good. Disappointing, and he. It's like Adams, come back and get Leeds back up. You're a hero. You're a hero here forever, aren't you? All that team well, I say that with that fickle that players who got us up last time, people are now slagging off. Cooper and Ayling, Jack Harrison, whatever. It beggars belief. I do think we're our own worst enemy at times, Leeds fans. It's like petulant child. You talked about the chant. If you say to your kids, don't do something, you guarantee they're going to do it. So the more you say, don't do something, the Leeds fans are going to do it. Because they're like a 5-year-old kid. Well, I'm gonna push the buttons. Don't tell me what to do. I'm gonna do what I want. It's like fucking hell. You need to grow up. We are a very sometimes brilliant and individual and unique crowd, but at times we let ourselves down, massively.
Well, you've got like 3 cops now, don't you? You've got the Revy stand, you've got the South stand, and you've got the cheese wedge, and they're 3 separate areas that are full of people who are gonna, full of young lads who are gonna sing whatever the hell they want, and especially if you say not to sing something in particular, they're gonna do the exact opposite, especially after a day full of drinking.
I think it's just football in general. I think since everyone's gone back into football and back into stadiums, people have just become dickheads. You had dickheads before lockdown and stuff, but it seems like people have completely gone over, I'm going to do what I want kind of thing. And it seems to be widespread in football just to be, we've seen a statement today about Leeds fans towards Brighton fans, but how often are you seeing statements about fans doing tragedy chants and stuff like that? It seems to be quite a common occurrence recently.
We have just been fined £150,000 today for homophobic chanting at the Brighton game in March. Good thing.
It is a good thing, but I think the consistency is the fact that didn't Millwall fans get fined 10 grand for being racist? So
correct.
Where's the consistency?
2019. I looked it up
Massively
because that was my first thought as well.
There's loads of stuff goes on, the Chelsea rent boy stuff, that happens at lots of games, There's loads of chanting goes on that's not, not good. And it's the inconsistency, and it just seems like there's certain clubs that they're just waiting for to kind of line up a big fine. I mean, you look at what happened with, Derby and Bielsa, it's the inconsistency in it. If it was consistent across the board, and if it was, tallied against the crime, so I would argue that some of the homophobic chanting, anything that's offensive to whatever group of people, find it fair enough. But some of the stuff that's chanted at football, Millwall particularly, is despicable. But it seems like there's no, 5-bar gate to, this touches that fine, or that's this kind of crime.
It's the inconsistency, isn't it? Because every single game, Jimmy Savile gets chanted. And every game, it's the away fans first.
And that's the thing for me, is that 2 wrongs don't make a right. The thing is that if opposition fans are chanting the Jimmy Savile song, don't retaliate to it. Report it, and then something might get done about it.
Yeah, but they're not going to do that, are they?
Exactly, they're not, though, are they? But it's
you get 5,000 drunk lads, they're not going to go. Oh, you know what? I think we should report this and.
But that's the thing, though, isn't it? It's never going to
stop. Lads, don't say anything. Don't, be the bigger man. No, it's not going to happen.
Come on, you why?
Yeah. being the devil's advocate, I would say I come from a generation and a time going to football where everything went. There was no monitoring of it. Some of the chants were, horrific and yeah, absolutely. So I suppose I come from a different generation where you've either got to sort of stamp down on all of it or just let it fucking be, you know what I mean? And now because of social media and the press and it being every game, every minute, every sound being on Sky, then it's captured and it's broadcast. So some of the stuff that used to happen in football in the 80s was just it was non-stop, like offensive chanting, non-stop barraging and hackling of players and coining players and stuff like that. So it's come a long way, but the people are never going to be happy, are they?
No.
Right, we've got 40 people watching now. If you could give us a like, that would be fantastic.
Nearly doubled. You must be saying something right.
Yeah, that's it. So I can't get through all your messages, but a few here. Badger says there is toxicity in our city. It's a system of a down, isn't it? 25 mil for Nonto, please, says Paul Humboldt. Gutted Jack Harrison has gone. Class. Our fan base still hold a grudge against a player that refused to play in a dead rubber 7 years ago after having constant pain injections for a season.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Says Badger. Matt Leeds says, "Hey, we haven't seen you in a while, Matt. It's good to see you. Did you see people having a go at Bamford for wishing Harrison good luck at Everton? Sometimes I hate some people that support this club."
Yeah.
I mean,
go at Bamford about anything, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. He could say, I'm giving some toys to a charity. Well, what about that charity?
Yeah.
You can't win. You can't win, can he? He could score a hat-trick, win his promotions to the Premier League.
Concentrate on playing football, man. Don't what are you getting involved in politics for? Fucking hell. Shut the fuck up, will you? Every comment on Twitter now. If you read, it's like the women, getting to the World Cup final. I won't even dare go onto the feed because it's like there's going to be a load of fucking misogynist fucking bullshit and anti-females and it's not a proper World Cup, fucking shut up, man. Just enjoy life. And how miserable must your life be to live like that? You know what I mean? That's all I think. I just pity people who are like that because it's got to have ultimately it's got to have an impact on them and their mental health and their well-being and their outlook on life. If you're just constantly negative and use Twitter as a platform to try and be edgy, then you're fucking sad as fuck anyway. So crack on.
Plus, the women are they're probably our only hope of seeing England win a World Cup. And it's been fucking fantastic.
I've enjoyed it. There's nothing wrong with it. People say, it's not as good as men's. Oh, the football's poor quality. It's not. It's better than most of the people who are commenting on it saying it's shit. I'd love to see them play football because I bet they're shit. Because I tell you now,
I saw one tweet yesterday. I could beat these England ladies after 10 pints quite easily.
Oh yeah, of course.
All right, okay.
Fucking rubbish. It's like when you're in the stand. I mean, listen, everybody's subject to that. Where you're calling people. If you ever watch football, it's like when Jack Grealish and who were doing those sort of long passes. That the ball don't touch the floor, keep up passes. Like it was Foden, wasn't it? Fucking go on then, go do that with your mate. You fucking silly mate stood next to you, slagging off Dan James or whatever, calling him shit and calling Bamford shit. That's all they do all day. It's a tough. It's just pathetic, isn't it, really? But anyway, I'll shut up.
Right. So just a little bit of news that came out today is about Adams and Sinistera. So their clauses have expired now. And Bournemouth are insisting that they paid the release clause within the allotted time. And Leeds are saying they didn't. And now it's expired. So I imagine that the club have just got fucking shit. They just decided, nah, nobody else is going. I don't care if you meet the clauses. It's not happening. And that's it. So I imagine that will be a legal issue now. And Sinistera clause expired, and it's not sure if Feyenoord have come in for him either before that clause. Although Farke did mention that it's with the lawyers now.
Fucking great. That's
just
always a elongated process and very
Can't
expensive.
wait for them to, in the end, have to go there anyway. Refuse to play in the meantime, and then the FA finds us.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah, they
EFL
will
docks
do,
us
yeah.
points.
Yeah. Dot point, and they end up getting a free to Bournemouth and a free to Feyenoord. That's what'll happen. It's got to be the worst case scenario. I said it
Yeah.
before. When people say like can't get any worse than this, it fucking can. It always has. In reality.
I'm flabbergasted at how amateurish some of this has come across. And I mean, I'm the biggest happy clapper on Twitter, and everyone will say that. But even I cannot see any positive in what's happened this summer with anything, with how the contracts have been handled, how Farke has had to come in and firefight since he's come in. Some of it is absolutely embarrassing. If this was a business, you'd be questioning how that business is being run. And this is meant to be a professional football club that was in the Premier League for 3 seasons. Sorry, just
Jack Harrison renegotiated his contract a month before we were relegated, and they had a relegation clause in it. Fucking idiot. I mean, fuck me. It's almost like they genuinely thought they were too good to go down. I mean, it's that old cliche, innit, where you're
yeah.
guaranteed if you think like that, you're going to go down. And, people talked about the Palace game and what happened, how did it all suddenly fall apart. You're starting to see why it all fell apart now, aren't you? The stuff that goes on behind the scenes. And, you talked about Nonto, we talked about slagging off players there. People slag off managers, why aren't you playing Nonto? Why aren't you playing Nonto to Gracia? Maybe he knew something we didn't. Maybe he was seeing something in training and where he sees him every day that we didn't. And that's why he won't play him, because of a poor attitude. And that's now been, displayed to everybody, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. Evening, lads, says Dave. Evening, Dave. New here. Hi. Congratulations.
Nice one, Dave. Welcome. You'll love this. It's great. It's really positive. It'll uplift you.
Can we sign that Colombian lady winger, Caicedo? She's brilliant and would probably get more games than Cine. I tell you what, Lauren Hemp, if fight, passion, she's like a little Rottweiler, I'd sign her, and she's been better than any Leeds player so far this season, but that's not high bar. Feyenoord pulled out as he's too expensive. Okay, there you go. That was Badger. Thank you, Badger.
I'm never fit.
Yeah.
Expensive and unreliable. Fucking hell, what a combo.
Yeah.
It's like Adams in it. US men's team people, all them fucking virgin fanboys going, oh, yeah, Chelsea's the club for Liverpool. Fucking hell, even Bournemouth haven't managed to get a deal over the line. Bournemouth, who play in front of 11,000 people. Fucking hell, he must be brilliant.
So Bandy is back and he's on the attack against the 49ers. 49ers are playing the ass.
Playing the ass, wow.
Playing the ass. Okay. Everybody knows what is needed except them. I was told the 49ers Enterprises was big and bad, a bit like Stuart Broad. What a bunch of chances. And he says, with 46% share of our club, the 49ers claim they were not culpable for us getting relegated. They're in the back seat. Remember, Bandy? That's what he said. They're in the driver's seat now. Now they have full ownership. The first thing they do is farm out the share to minority investors. Doing a whip round, aren't they, Bandy? Go on, Bandy!
It's like a meat raffle in a pub on a Sunday afternoon. That's what it's like. Fucking hell. Anybody else want to chip in? Do you want to buy the last football card? The last name on the football card? Fucking hell. Honestly, what a joke.
Do you think we should make some signings? Is what one of the investors tweeted.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Brilliant. It's a simple game made complicated by fools. Exactly. Yes, possibly, yeah.
And Bowie says, evening, nice to see you back, guys. Nice to see you too, Bowie. Nearly 50 people tonight.
Good grief.
Ben says, this is the best Leeds content on YouTube. Thank you, Ben.
Oh, mate.
Give a thumbs up.
It's probably the most inconsistent. I don't know about best.
Yeah. And Skip says, can I get a release clause as a Leeds fan?
No, mate.
No.
This is forever.
We're here forever.
Yeah.
Righto. So I think we've done all the negatives, right? So I did want to talk about some positives.
Brilliant.
Right, well, that's the end of the show. Good night. Thank you.
Good night. God bless. This isn't going to be long, is it? You might be off by 7:20, Barney.
So Daniel Farke,
Yeah.
the natural successor to Marcelo Bielsa.
I can't listen to him without. You know what I'm going to say?
I tell
Fucking
you,
German porn.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. I was going to say it's not difficult to listen to him. It's unbelievable hard. A bit like your German porn.
Ja, ich flicken mein Winkel Holland. Ja, ich lecken meine Asche locker. Oh yeah, das ist gut. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's just fucking. I can't do it. I love him, and I think he's great. And I think he's took on a momentous job, and he talks a good game. But I'm sick of saying people talk a good game. I want to see what he can deliver. But he's very likable, and But every time I listen to him, I burst out into. Start playing like Swedish art music and fucking doing the old. Ja, die gewissen mein Guter, ja, in meine Bottom holen, ja, und flicken mein Winky. Ja, das ist gut, ja, das ist geil. Spritze in meiner Fasse.
How much German porn have you watched?
Fucking loads. I don't think there's because it's only the ones I haven't watched. Oh, God almighty. Fucking hell.
Oh, God. Barney, do you want to save us from ourselves?
I just listened to talking about his accent and when he was saying August yesterday. He was saying August, which is quite funny. But he's been a breath of fresh air. No cliches is what when he talks. He knows exactly where this club is and what needs to be done. He's been very open and honest since from the start. Some fans took it as that we're skint, but more and more things have come out since then. And also, I think Skip's just mentioned in the comments that we are far more fitter now as well. There was a stat, was it against Cardiff? We ran the most.
Shrewsbury.
Was it Shrewsbury since 2019?
Yeah.
It just shows
that's how hard we had to work.
Yeah, it just shows you how unfit.
To beat Shrewsbury.
It shows how unfit we've been for the last 2 seasons, considering we were one of the fittest in Europe under Bielsa. So, and a lot of people have said that he probably was the natural progression from Bielsa. But, I mean, if we brought in Farke with the Premier League, we wouldn't have really said anything about that. But you can see patterns of play already to a certain extent. And the fact that we're actually just playing football for a change rather than hit and hope and hope for the best. We actually can pass to each other. There was a stat, wasn't there, recently? Was it 89 pass completion?
Yeah.
I mean, that was unheard of under Marsh. Just stuff like that. It's just playing football for a change.
Just passing the ball.
It was Marsh's was Orta's man. And it just goes to show what a fucking amateur he is. You know what I mean? And I think that being really positive now. The Cardiff game, Shrewsbury's slightly different, but it's a weakened squad, a weakened first 11. Underdog coming to Ellen Road. Under the lights on a Wednesday night, whatever. The Cardiff game, apart from the diabolical defending, we absolutely dominated. I mean, if we'd have put 2 or 3 of the chances we had in the first half away, and being able to defend, because I mean, it would have been a very different story. And I think the passing and the kind of movement, Ampadu, Archie Gray, there is some positives in there, some real positive. Cresswell when he came on, when Cooper goes off, it was really disappointing that when we got the first goal back against Cardiff, to be fair, Nonto ran into the back of the goal, got the balls, like, come on, we had that momentum to just go, and I thought we'd have steamrolled them. Cooper gets injured, we lose about 6 minutes of play, and by that time, everything's died down, the crowd have died down, it seems like there's a lot of things conspiring against us at the moment. But I do think, generally, you look at the stats on that game, shots on target, you look at Marsh, we wouldn't have had 27 shots on target in 10 games. There's games that went by under Gracia where we didn't have a shot on goal. I think there's a lot of positives to look at how we're playing, and I think given the right pegs in holes and the right sort of personnel to deliver, I do think he'll do a really good job. Admittedly, the standards drop. We're not in the Premier League anymore. It's the Championship. Cardiff, I don't think are going to be finishing in the top half of the table. Shrewsbury, I don't even know what league Shrewsbury in, but I do think possession-wise, passing, looking like we've got a strategy and a plan. I think the thing that I do think we need another centre half, a horrible centre half, and I do think we need. Dan James worries me a little bit because I think he does put a lot of effort in and he's decent. He's got no end product. He's a bit like Harrison. For all Harrison's qualities, he wasted a lot of opportunities, to deliver. And we need a 9. We need when people keep talking about all the positions we need and, going after that player and Kamara and this and that. Forget about all that. You've got to get a 9. The number of times where that ball goes out wide and they dare to throw it in the box because there's nobody there or there's not an instinctive 9 to go and get on the end of something or to thread a pass through, it's embarrassing. And that's the problem with the way that if you look at, there was times in the Cardiff game, Shrewsbury game as well, where I thought, Cresswell and Strike and Hielda or whoever it was, are getting bored because all they're doing is it's passing it round. It's kind of sideways, backwards stuff. And there's got to be an injection at some point where you pick the pace up and you play that passing behind the line, and then you look to thread a pass through out wide or through to a 9. But there's not a lot there to hit, and there's a little bit of a lack of movement, and I think that'll come, with time.
I just
But
think
there's a lot of positives in the way we're playing.
You talk about James. I just think that, and talk about passing. That's how low the bar has been lowered. I remember watching that Birmingham game and thinking, this is the worst I've ever seen Daniel James play. He was running into people. He didn't do it once. He did it a few times, and it was like a cartoon, where a cartoon character runs into a wall and just gets splattered in that one position like a fucking gecko. He did that a number of times, like koala bear wrapping himself around people, around the hips. His end product is terrible as well. But the bar has been raised so low because of people refusing to play and going out, leaving Leeds and not taking the responsibility, because these players got the club relegated. So to not feel any kind of responsibility to put that right, I think is damning on their characters. But that then you look at the tweets the next day and it's like, oh, Dan James, look at how much effort he puts in every time he turns up. It doesn't matter, and that's it. That's the bar for us now.
Yeah,
we couldn't pass the ball to save our lives under Marsh. So now passing the football is this brilliant thing. And Dan James has become our best player because he got on the bus, because he turned up.
Basic requirement, yeah, absolutely. And I think we touched on the Women's World Cup. I've seen better set piece takers in that than we've got. The number of times where you look at the set pieces we get and it's a complete waste, or we hit the front man. You look at Rocker last season, hitting the front man 3 corners in a row. The girl who took corners for Australia yesterday was putting them on a sixpence on the 6-yard box on top of the keeper, which is what they were aiming to do.
I was doing it in the park when I was 11 years old, playing headers and volleys.
You just wonder what they do all week and what are they working on. I mean, we haven't had a set piece taker since Pablo. I mean, it's fucking embarrassing. It's like, how can you not, as a footballer? I know they keep going on about Greenwood, but I don't think he's good enough to start, and you can't bring somebody on just because he's set pieces. But we're just awful at like that thing. But listen, positively, I think there's a lot of positives around the way we're playing, and as you say, the bar's low, Donny, but at least we're moving in the right direction with how we're trying to string things together and keep possession of the football, and just can't defend. At the moment, it's the penalty that they give away on Sunday. I mean, you just don't need to make that challenge, and it's Dan James again, as you say, running into somebody without any due diligence or thought or care and attention. I'll just run into somebody and see what happens.
Well, we've tried to do the positives. We fucking tried.
That's it.
Barney, you got any positives for us? You're normally the positive one.
I think from after. I won't stress in, but I mean before the press conference, I was quite worried where we're going to be. There was the amount of players going out, the articles coming out about contracts issues and players wanting to leave and stuff. But after listening to Farke's press conference yesterday, I feel a little bit more confident. And I think hopefully we've gone through the pain now. And by the sounds of what Farke was saying, that we're going to see a bit more improvement next week with hopefully more signings to come in. And just the way that Farke's been, like I said before, Farke's handling this really well. And that's one of the saving graces for me. I feel more confident with the way he's speaking about where we're going to be. Don't judge us now, judge us once this team's finally finished at the end of August. I feel a little bit more confident. I mean, I'm going to reserve my judgment about the season. The fact that we couldn't beat a really poor Birmingham side was quite worrying, but we'll see.
Yeah, I just thought we lacked
How
that quality up
Burnley
front.
started. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. The 10 and 9 position are a problem. And I think if you look how Burnley started last year, I think they drew, they only had about 4 points after the first 5 games. So, there's nothing to say you can't turn it around. But I just think there's stability at Burnley, that kind of, happy to clear out said players, bring in young, get the right loans in, like, Howard Bellis, whatever. They got people in. I just think that we've got this aggressiveness in the transfer market that the 49ers keep talking about. And that's the worry in it, is because we had a manager that just talked a good game and did fuck all in Marsh, and guess what? He was American. We've had players who've come in and talked a good game and done fuck all. Guess what? They were American. End of the day, we need some action. We need to see this aggressiveness.
Welcome to our American viewers.
Yeah, sorry, we've only got 35 viewers now because 15 of them were.
Yeah, don't mention. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell.
Yeah, but talk's cheap. Get your finger out your ass and start backing the man, because, as I say, he's the best human whatever, best manager we've had since Bielsa.
Yeah.
So don't make the same mistake by not backing him. Yeah.
Yeah, just touching on Greenwood, because he did mention that. And Bowie says Greenwood is a liability on our own half. He should play further forward. And Dave White with a similar point, which was Greenwood was good when he played up front for the under-23s. Yeah. And I've only ever seen Greenwood consistently play as a number 9 in the under-23s. And maybe we could just give him a go. I think we need somebody else. I think we need a really good number 9, like Pirro has been mentioned, etc., etc. But I think maybe just give Greenwood a go playing up front, because I saw him and Joffy in behind him, who know each other so well. And I know it's only the under-23s, but they knew each other's game so well, and they were both banging in goals for fun. Greenwood was scoring a goal a game on average, at least. At times.
I think it shows that the depth, that the what's the word I'm looking for? The vastment. That's not even a word.
Word.
All
right, that was Barney. Thanks for coming.
I think it shows the gulf between under-23 football to actually playing in the men's game. Yeah. I've seen some players in the under-23s. Oh, he's going to actually smash it. They come on for the first team. You think, Christ, they're not very good.
I don't think he will. He will. What I'm saying is, give him a go. Give him a go at, at Shrewsbury. I know he was injured, but give him a go at Shrewsbury, or give him a go in the position that he wants. It was Marsh who brought him in and played him DM. He's never been a defensive midfielder.
He's not. He's a good lad, though, because he let me out of a junction the other week. So
did he?
Yeah. I should have went MOT like that.
Yeah. Cheers, tell you what, Willie Nonto wouldn't have, would he?
No.
He'd have driven right in front of you.
He would have been one of those dickheads that would have parked in the bit that says, don't block. You can imagine him looking at me. I'm not moving.
In the hatchings, the hatchings. Looking straight ahead, pretending he can't see you.
Yeah.
Swearing it. You fucking little Italian midget. Fucking move, you peck. You're in fucking Rome now, you cunt. Go on, fuck off.
Oh, dear. Right. Thank you all. We've got nearly 70 people watching now, so that's...
Oh, wow, that's amazing. Fucking how? What is going on? Why? Why have you got nothing else to do with your lives, children? Come on.
Barney sounds like a 1940s Spitfire player. I think that's what's drawing people in.
I think it's Barney, definitely. He looks quite handsome today. I think he's stapled his face back. He looks like he's had a facelift. He's done one of them cheap ones where he staples your face back.
You get called fat once on X.
Yeah, exactly.
Fat lad. I'm going to go make myself sick now. Lose a bit of weight. Run around the block.
Don't take any notice, Barney. You lovely mate. Fuck him.
Final thoughts, gentlemen. Oh, and what's your thing if you've got time?
Fucking hell.
I'll tell you what my thing is. I'll start. I never start. I'll tell you what mine is. I've been listening to a audiobook called Atomic Habits, and I highly recommend it. Watched Oppenheimer the other day, which was a complete coincidence. But yeah, Atomic Habits, very, very good. A very good book. Yeah. Instagrammable.
I started watching Godfathers of Harlem on your recommendation, Donny. So it's really good. I'm just getting into it. It took me a while. First few, I was like, nah, I don't think it's going to be for me, this. But I've got to about the 7th one on the first series, and it's fucking really good. I'm starting to warm to it. It's got a bit of Italian mafia, a bit of Harlem gangster. It's cool, man. I like it. Yeah, music's really good. So that's my thing.
Yeah, Forrest Whitaker. Brilliant actor.
Really good. Plays a good part. Yeah.
Good in Ghost Dog, Way of the Samurai as well. That's another recommendation from him. Brilliant film. Barney!
You know what I'm going to do here? Minder was my thing.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So I'm going to London next week for a couple of days, so I'm going to go try find the Winchester pub. But I've been watching Bullseye.
Fucking hell, Barney.
Fucking can't beat Bullseye.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. The way Jim Bowen presents that show is fantastic. It's
majestic,
brilliant.
Isn't it?
Just,
it's majestic.
And then some of the prizes. I remember watching it as a kid thinking, wow, that's a right prize.
Yeah.
And then you see,
look at what you could have won.
Well, one of the prizes is like like some posh knives and forks.
Yeah.
You'd only get out on Christmas Day. Those kind of things.
A 52-piece cutlery set for the family. Yeah.
But the actual Bullies special prize last night was a mink coat.
Wow.
Yeah, what, real mink as well? Probably real mink.
Yeah, real mink coat.
Wow.
And then one of the prizes was a dishwasher. And what Jim Bowen says, for that special lady, she'll like this dishwasher.
Yeah, she'll love that dishwasher. Yeah, there was no political correctness then. It's like
for your vegan cousin, a mink coat.
Yeah. Let's have a look what you could have won, lads. Come on, let's have a look what you could have won, lads. Come on, Terence. Come on, Vinny. And yeah, the speedboat. You live in landlocked Doncaster. Oh, the speedboat. Fucking lads, what a shame, eh? It's fucking brilliant. What a brilliant program. I remember like coming down when you were a lot younger, coming in and finding like late night episodes of Bullseye while you were coming down. It was like the best thing ever. Like,
it's on Challenge TV at the moment, so it's 2 episodes, 11 till 12 on a night. Fantastic TV.
Oh, that's black. And that's black. That's a fondue set for the kids. Oh, that's red. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's black. That's matching sheepskin jackets for all the family.
They'll love it. Melted cheese. Liam Beat, great stream. The Peacocks, Leeds Forever, MOT. And a few predictions. Ben's doing our job for us. Thank you, Ben. Predictions for Friday. Come on, boys. Liam B says Leeds to draw 1-1. I've got my Brucey bonus voice on. Clean sheet, 2-0 win. Arse Ripper. Great name.
Arse Ripper.
Arse Ripper. That's what Leeds United have been the last few weeks.
If we keep a clean sheet, fucking hell, I don't know. I was going to make some impromptu guarantee that I'd do something really stupid then, but I can't see us keeping a clean sheet.
Do you know what? Just to prove that I do read most of your comments, almost all of them. Somebody put that it had been 6 months since our last clean sheet. There it is. It was Skip. What's that, Skip? Heard on the square ball the other day. Our last clean sheet was 6 months ago.
Is it Newcastle?
I'll tell you what. If we get a clean sheet tomorrow, I'll get a peacock tattoo.
Wow.
There you go.
Bloody hell.
Because it's not going to happen.
Dave White, Leeds lose 2-1. Badger 0-2 and my Sky Bet balance improves. Bet responsibly. My favourite comment of the night, Peter Cowan. Hello.
Hi, Peter.
Hello, Peter. Hello.
Hello.
Saying hello into the void. Don't worry, we're listening. You've got a friend in us. Right.
What are we doing? Predictions and last thoughts then. So predictions are... I'd be happy with a draw. 2-2. We're definitely not keeping a clean sheet. I'm going to go 2-2.
Okay. I think we're going to lose 1-0.
Right. I'm going to predict that all of the adversity is going to galvanise the squad, and it's going to be backs against the walls, and Farke's going to do an unbelievable hard speech quoting, fucking who's that nun that everybody loved?
Whoopi Goldberg.
Mother Teresa. Yeah.
Whoopi Goldberg. Oh, yeah.
He's going to send them out to a Mother Teresa quote. Now, go and get them, boys. And we're going to lose probably 3-0. I don't know. No idea. I actually don't care anymore. I don't fucking care.
I don't either.
What'll
be.
Yeah. If anybody was contemplating suicide, it might be easier, to be honest.
I mean, I'll be 6 pints, 7 pints down before we kick off, so I won't even fucking see the game. I don't care.
In case you're wondering why we don't do match reviews.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you next season.
Thank you. 1-0, come on. Yes, the flying nun. Leeds, Claire Balding.